Good morning, everyone. I want to share something with you that could literally change your life and possibly save it. The title of today's talk is Cancer Dies When You Do HIS. Now, that's a powerful statement, but I want you to understand something even more powerful. Your body is not broken. You were designed to heal, and when you create the right conditions, healing becomes automatic. Every time you put something in your mouth, you are making a decision, a small, silent vote, either for health or for disease. Most people don't realize that the food they eat 3, 4, 5 times a day is either healing their cells or feeding the very thing they fear most. Here's the shocking truth: cancer doesn't just appear overnight. It grows quietly in an environment that allows it to thrive. And that environment is fueled by one thing: sugar. Now, I'm not just talking about candy bars and soda. I'm talking about hidden sugars, the bread, the pasta, the so-called healthy granola bars, the juices, even the low-fat snacks that scream diet friendly. The moment you eat those foods, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin to bring it down. But when this cycle happens all day, every day, insulin stays high. And that's when your body switches into a storage mode. Fat goes up, energy goes down, and your cells become resistant to insulin signal. What most people don't know is that high insulin doesn't just store fat. It also creates the perfect growth environment for abnormal cells. Here's the hook. Cancer cells can't survive without sugar. They love glucose. They thrive on it. In fact, if you look at how oncologists detect cancer, they use a PET scan. They inject a small amount of radioactive glucose and see where it accumulates. Guess where it goes? Straight to the cancer cells. Because cancer cells are sugar addicts, they consume glucose up to 200 times faster than normal cells. So every time you drink that soda, every time you grab that muffin, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding the enemy. But the good news is this: you can flip the switch. The moment you reduce sugar, you begin starving those abnormal cells. You shift your metabolism from sugar burning to fat burning. When you lower insulin, you're not just losing weight. You're turning off the growth signals that disease depends on. It's like shutting down the electricity in a house where the lights of cancer can no longer stay on. Here's another powerful truth. When you cut sugar, you're not depriving your body, you're freeing it. You're allowing your cells to breathe again, to repair, to heal. Your brain becomes sharper. Your energy levels stabilize. Your cravings fade because your body is no longer trapped in the roller coaster of blood, sugar spikes, and crashes. And as your insulin levels drop, inflammation decreases, and inflammation is one of the key triggers behind almost every chronic condition, including cancer. Imagine for a moment that your body is a beautiful, vibrant garden. Sugar is like pouring gasoline on the weeds. You might not see the damage immediately, but underneath the surface, those weeds are growing fast. When you stop feeding them, they wither. And then, what happens? The flowers, your healthy cells, have space to flourish again. That's what happens inside your body when you quit sugar. You create an internal environment where disease can't take root. Now, I know change can be uncomfortable. The first few days without sugar may feel tough. Your body is detoxing, recalibrating. But that's not weakness. That's healing. Every craving is your old biology asking for its fix. Every time you say no, you're rewiring your metabolism, strengthening your willpower, and reclaiming control. Here's what's incredible. Your body doesn't hold grudges. The moment you give it the right fuel, it starts healing. Within days of cutting sugar, insulin drops. Within weeks, energy rises. Within months, you're living in a body that's no longer inflamed, tired, or craving junk. And the cells that could have gone rogue are now being starved out of existence. So when I say, stop feeding the enemy, I mean it literally. Sugar is not your friend. It's not comfort. It's control. Every time you choose real food, leafy greens, avocados, eggs, healthy fats, you're saying, I choose life. I choose energy. I choose healing. Cancer doesn't stand a chance when you stop giving it what it needs most. Your body is powerful beyond belief. All it's waiting for is you to take that power back. Every single one of us has within our body an extraordinary power that can heal, repair, and renew. A system so intelligent that it knows exactly what to fix, when to fix it, and how. But here's the truth: most people never allow that power to turn on. We live in a world where eating has become constant. Breakfast at 8, a snack at 10, lunch at noon, another snack at 3, dinner at 7, maybe dessert after. The body never gets a break. And that's the problem. Because true healing doesn't happen while you're eating. It happens when you're fasting. Here's the hook. Every time you fast, you're not just skipping a meal, you're activating a deep biological process called autophagy. Think of it as your body's built-in cleansing program. It's the moment your cells start cleaning house, breaking down damaged components, recycling old proteins, and removing cellular junk. And here's what's fascinating. Cancer cells hate that. They can't survive in an environment where damaged cells are constantly being broken down and renewed. Fasting flips the switch from growth to repair, from chaos to order. It's your body's way of pressing the reset button. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But isn't fasting dangerous? Don't we need to eat every few hours to keep our metabolism going? That's one of the biggest myths we've been taught. Your ancestors didn't have access to a refrigerator or drive-through every few hours. Their bodies adapted to cycles of eating and not eating. And during those fasting hours, their systems became sharper, stronger, and more efficient. Your body was designed for periods of rest. When you eat constantly, you burn sugar. But when you fast, you switch into fat burning mode. And in that state, your body doesn't just burn fat for fuel. It starts healing itself at the cellular level. Here's where the magic happens. Fasting lowers insulin, reduces inflammation, boosts growth hormone, and triggers cellular repair. Every hour you're not eating, your body is shifting resources from digestion to regeneration. It's scanning for damaged cells, cleaning up misfolded proteins, and recycling what it can use to make new, healthy tissue. Imagine your body as a construction site. When you keep feeding it all day, the workers are too busy unpacking boxes and dealing with deliveries. But when the eating stops, the cleanup crew can finally get to work, sweeping away debris and rebuilding stronger structures. That's what fasting does inside you. And here's something even more powerful. Fasting doesn't just help your body, it transforms your mind. There's a sense of clarity, focus, and calm that comes when your body isn't constantly chasing the next meal. Your energy stabilizes, your mood improves, and your cravings disappear because your system finally remembers how to run on fat, a cleaner, longer-lasting fuel. You stop being a slave to food and start mastering your metabolism. Now, let me give you a visual. Picture your cells as little engines. When they're running on sugar, they're sputtering, overheating, producing toxic exhaust. That's inflammation. But when you switch them to fat, they hum quietly, efficiently, producing almost no waste. That's metabolic healing. And during fasting, your body prefers that clean fuel. Meanwhile, the cells that are damaged, weak, or abnormal, including potential cancer cells, struggle to survive in this new environment. They can't handle the metabolic stress of fasting. Healthy cells adapt and thrive. Diseased cells wither and die. The best part. You don't need to starve yourself to activate this power. Even something as simple as a 16-hour fast, skipping breakfast, and eating within an 8-hour window can dramatically change your health. You'll start to feel lighter, more energetic, and mentally sharper. Your body will begin detoxifying naturally without fancy cleanses or supplements. It's your own internal medicine, free, natural, and always available. Remember, fasting isn't about punishment. It's about permission, giving your body permission to do what it was designed to do. It's the pause that heals. When you fast, you're not neglecting your body, you're respecting it. You're saying, I trust you to heal. I trust you to repair. I trust you to restore balance. And your body always responds. So when you think about fasting, don't see it as deprivation. See it as transformation. Each hour you spend not eating is an hour your body spends cleaning, healing, and renewing from the inside out. And as your internal environment changes, disease loses its grip, cancer doesn't thrive where the body is vibrant, clean, and balanced. Fasting turns that inner environment from one of stagnation to one of strength. It's not about doing more, it's about allowing more healing to happen naturally. Every bite you take is information for your body. It's not just calories, It's communication. It tells your cells how to function, how to repair, and how to protect you. Most people eat to fill their stomachs, not to fuel their health. And that's where the problem begins. We're overfed, yet undernourished. We've mistaken fullness for nourishment. But when you truly begin to understand that food is your most powerful form of medicine, everything changes. You stop eating out of habit and start eating with purpose. And that's when healing begins. Here's the hook. Cancer doesn't develop in a nourished body. It grows in a depleted one. It grows where there are deficiencies, where cells are starving for real nutrients, but drowning in chemicals, additives, and processed junk. You can't build healthy cells out of unhealthy materials. Imagine trying to build a house with rotten wood and crumbling bricks. It won't stand for long. The same is true for your body. Every cell is built from what you eat. If you feed it junk, you get weak structures. If you feed it life, you get resilience. Real nourishment doesn't come from the label on a box. It comes from the earth, from foods that are alive, colorful, and full of energy. Leafy greens packed with magnesium and potassium, wild, caught fish rich in omega-3s, avocados loaded with healthy fats, and eggs with bioavailable nutrients that your body recognizes and uses. These foods speak your body's language. They don't just fill you up. They turn on healing genes, lower inflammation, and strengthen your immune system. When you nourish your body deeply, you're not just surviving, you're thriving at a cellular level. But let's go deeper. When you eat nutrient-dense foods, you're changing your body's chemistry. You're giving your liver what it needs to detoxify, your brain what it needs to focus, and your immune cells the building blocks they need to defend you. The more nutrients your body has, the stronger your internal defense system becomes. And that's crucial because cancer cells are constantly trying to take advantage of weakness, of a system that's distracted or depleted. When your cells are well, fed with the right vitamins, minerals, and fat and nutrients, cancer can't take hold easily. Your immune system recognizes and destroys those rogue cells before they multiply. Here's something most people don't realize. You can eat all day and still be starving. You can consume thousands of calories and yet be deficient in the very nutrients that control healing. That's what processed food does. It gives you energy without vitality. It satisfies the tongue, but starves the tissues. It numbs your body with pleasure, but robs it of purpose. True nourishment wakes your body up again. You start to feel alive, mentally clear. Your energy no longer crashes midday. Your skin glows, your digestion improves, and your mood stabilizes because your body finally has what it's been missing for years. Think of your body as a high-performance vehicle. If you pour cheap, low-quality fuel into it, it might run, but not efficiently. The engine clogs, the performance drops, and eventually it breaks down. But when you feed it premium fuel, whole, unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods, everything runs smoothly. The body burns cleaner, repairs faster, and resists damage. Cancer cells can't thrive in that kind of system. They depend on chaos, on imbalance, inflammation, and nutritional poverty. But in a nourished, alkaline, and oxygen-rich body, they lose their power. Now here's a powerful truth your taste buds can change. Your body can relearn what real food feels like. When you cut out processed sugar and refined carbs, your cravings will fade and your appreciation for natural flavors will return. You'll begin to crave what your body truly needs, not what addiction demands. That's when you know your chemistry is shifting from disease to health. Every nutrient-dense meal becomes an act of healing. Every choice a message that says, I choose strength over weakness, vitality over decay. And here's what's amazing. This kind of nourishment doesn't just protect you physically, it transforms your mindset. When you eat clean, alive foods, you think more clearly, you handle stress better, you make better decisions. Because a nourished body supports a nourished mind. The fog lifts, and suddenly you see life differently. You stop chasing temporary pleasure and start valuing long-term health. So remember this truth. Nourishment isn't about eating more. It's about eating smarter. It's about feeding the cells that keep you alive, not the cravings that slowly destroy you. When you give your body what it truly needs, you're doing more than just eating. You're creating a state of health so strong that disease simply cannot exist within it. That's the power of real nourishment. It's not just food. It's the fuel of life. your body is not a victim of chance. It's a reflection of the environment you create inside it every single day. The truth is, disease cannot take hold in a body that's balanced, strong, and metabolically healthy. Cancer doesn't start because of bad luck. It starts because the internal environment allows it to. And here's the good news. You can change that environment. You can build a body so resilient, so well nourished, and so balanced that cancer has nowhere to live, nowhere to grow, and no fuel to feed on. The power is in your hands, and it begins with one choice: creating a body cancer cannot survive in. Here's the hook. Cancer doesn't grow in an environment of oxygen, vitality, and balance. It thrives in stagnation, inflammation, and toxicity. So when you make lifestyle choices that support circulation, nutrient absorption, detoxification, and hormone balance, you're not just preventing disease, you're building a fortress of health from the inside out. Every decision you make is either cleaning the house or cluttering it, and your body, like your home, can't stay healthy in chaos. When you bring order to your inner world, everything begins to